Good morning to everyone and Happy New Year 2025 to everyone, all the learners. I am BISWAS, Academic Counselor of IGNOU. So today our course is MMPH002. Again, this is Human Resource Development, and today I have to discuss about the block number 3, that is unit number 10, and block number 4, unit number 11. That is unit number 10 and 11 that we have to discuss today. First, as usual, let's see what are the content of the particular this block. That is block 3, unit number 10 is HRD in industrial relations. That where we have to see what type of relations for the industrial purposes. And then 11 number unit is emerging trends and what are the perspectives. So okay, let's go see the number 10, that is the HRD in industrial relations. First, defining the industrial relations is defined. Then HRD and the organizational development. What are the meaning and what are the responsibility, and what type of linkages with HRD, organizational development, and industrial relations linkages. What way it is the linking. Then pressure of change, that is a need for the integration of HRD and IR, why it is needed. Development and approaches to industrial relations. Then prerequisite for a successful HRD and organizational development approaches to IR. Developmental mechanism for improving industrial relations. So all are the basic topics are contained in the unit number 10. The first things, let's see the definition of the industrial relations. So in India, they are equipped with collective bargaining and interpretations of the rules, labor laws, court cases, problem of the indisciplines, etc. Because it is growing. Because when it is a multinational company or in a small sector, medium or large scale companies, there should be some of the issues and problems will be there, and that what are the laws are there? Basically, the labor laws to protect the employees on behalf of, and as well as for the employer protections also are formulated and are well defined. It's laid down. Some of the rules and regulations are there, and that has to be sorted out so that healthy atmosphere to be created. Idea is to start so that in industry there should be any healthy atmospheres. There should not be any conflict, any stress, or any monetary problems. So for that, every organization should have a policies, and that policies where it should not be absent. So the practical policies should be robust and which is maintainable. Easily can acceptable. And that should be a short-term and the long-term perspectives. You have to see short-term basis and long-term basis also. So unfortunately, both the HRD and IR have been considered as different functions most of the cases. And there has been a little attempt, both the academicians and practitioners, to see the relevance of the HRD to manage the IR functions for a proactive manner. Now, defining the industrial relations, an IR system that's according to Dunlop, at any one time, its development is regarded as compromise the certain actions, certain contents, and that ideology which binds the IR systems. Actually, Dunlop has defined this is the way some of the system he has formulated, and some of the ideology are there based on this we follow. In addition to their obvious conflict of interest, the parties in IR, industrial relations, have many interests, standards, and the values of the common, which they either bring to industrial relations from the wider society or the development ones they are involved in industrial relations. To emphasize on the facet is to deny that the stability and the instability, conflict and cooperations have equal claim to the investigation. So all the things are to be considered and viewed accordingly. Now, HRD is mainly concerned with developing competencies, mainly technically managerial, in the managerial where this leadership also included, and behavioral patterns among the organizational process. So HRD are look forward, just concerned about this type of development. But typically, the typical mechanisms for facilitating the HRD, what are the components or what are the sub-components, you can say, are supporting to the HRD process. So that is the facilitating things, that is the performance appraisals. From there, all the database of the individuals can be stored and can be analyzed. Training is another part, and training report, basically the training feedback, training report, then your performance counseling based on these. This is part of your development purpose, organizational development, then employees' welfare and their quality of work life, etc. So all are your facilitating part. I mean, if I say it's all are the component or small department, then all the departments are ultimately boost or to build the HRD systems in the organizations. Now, organizational development is a practice field which is based on the discipline of the organizational behavior, psychology, and administrative science. It developed as new behavioral science, finding about the employees' motivation, and organizations were applied by the managers to solve the organizational problems like poor communication. Why the poor communication is there? That has to be solved. Inadequate integration. There is no integrations, maybe not in streamlined in particular way, or seamless work are hindering. So integration is very important. This is the area to be developed. Low commitment. Employees are not committed. Their initiatives are less, and inadequate employee development. So all these are behavioral science part is finding this is the way, which are the area to be matter and to be developed. Now HRD, OD and IR linkages. Now we have to clarify the things. Then HRD approaches the focuses on the developing the human resource, their competencies, motivation, and organizational culture, and facilitate both these. Industrial technological changes, then strategic shifts. I mean, changes, technological changes and strategic shifts, then human process changes, etc. Are industrial relations is a specialized function that involve to protect the interest of the organizations and as well as the working class. Now HRD organizational IR linkages, again some of the another part is there, that is OD is on organizational capabilities. Organizational development means we have to focus on how to increase the capability of the organizations, and the primary focus of industrial relation is protection of their interest. Here you see the differences can be identified. HRD's focus basically the overall development of the organizations, whereas the IR, they are the primary focus on protection of the interests of their labor and the management in a balanced way. So there the basic differences between HRD and the lower IR. Now, there is a lot that HRD and OD can contribute in the area of industrial relations. So altogether, you cannot that industrial relations where the HRD is also linkages, organizational development is also linkages, and industrial relation as such is there already. So managers are becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the traditional IR policies because most of the cases, because the traditional old systems are there in the industrial relations and the labor law, there are a lot of things needs to be modified which are not there. So that's why the managers sometimes facing problem there. They are dissatisfied accordingly when they are dealing with their subordinates in a day-to-day basis. So which are normally static and are based on the safety of the law portions and the fear of the unions. So that has to be drastically to be changed. The changes that are relevant both the management and the unions. So changes should not be in one way. Changes in both the way, and changes are to be seen at the union benefits and as well. Means employees benefit and as well for the management, the owner of the organizations there. So that there should be in a balanced way. You have to change. Some of the changes that are relevant both for management and unions, which are the things. That is the emergence of a new technology. When the new technology are emerging, so straightway you cannot implement it. So because you have to should have some open forum, some workshop, and discuss the things alongside of all the workers and the supervisors. We call a meeting, maybe 1 or 2, 3 sittings. Then only you can have it create. Basically, you have to create a pressure on the management as well as the union. So computerizations, because straightway you cannot implement it. Better you have to create some atmosphere. The computerization, what the benefits are there, what will be the growth for the company, and what are the money. I mean, time saves, your skill can be enhanced. So all these things is a part of your in the programs. New worker is always those who are new workers. Their anxiety is there, both the management and unions cases. There is some of the area which I am highlighting. That is basically your changes are where are differently the needed. Then innovative personal practicing and the quality of work-life programs. Many organizations and their impact on the improved business performance. Pressure on the government for the workers' participation in the management, because one way the government is pressurizing, you involve the workers in the decision-making process. You have to take their views, they have to consult with them. Ultimately, for the benefit of the workers, what are any schemes that has to be discussed with the workers also. So that means the participations in the management are required. Competencies building in the major actor of the industrial relations, like the management at different hierarchical levels, and the key government officials concerned in this. As you know, another the development process, there are one of the common things, OCTA PSA or Octopac. I mean, if you pronounce in that way, Octopac, it stands for O for the openness, P for corrections, C for confrontations, A for autonomy, T for trust, and C for collaborations. So authenticity, a competency is building, because if you have in the development process, you are fostering these things, all these area, definitely your development will be there, and slowly it is approached to industrial relations. Development of the middle management. Now, where the competencies building and the management would mean the knowledge about rules of the workplace, because where they are working, before getting any instructions, the manager should have a knowledge about these things, what he is saying, what he is advising or delivering, that knowledge he should have. Understanding about the customs and the practices in relation to dealing with the employees and the unions. So understanding is one of the important. The knowledge, legal knowledge in the legal framework of the IR, because the manager, when he is dealing with the laborers or workers, he should be aware of all the laws. What are the labor laws of theirs? Then better way he can perform. The knowledge about the history and the background of the union, because if you know the history of the background of the union, then it will be easy to communicate, easy to discuss with them, and union leadership in the organization. So this is the way. All these things are for the middle management levels are required for the development purposes. Knowledge about the emerging environment scenario, that is also important, because managers should have a good idea about the business environment and the economic conditions, politically, geopolitics, and nature, human natures, human behavior patterns. So all are things needed. That has to be practiced in the industries. Skills. Now, regarding the skills in diagnosis of your problems and the tools of the diagnosis, skill in resolutions of the grievances, skill in negotiations, and interpersonal skills. Then so all these are skill. These skill levels are needs. The skill is all of the needs. Attitudes, that are orientations to positive problem solving, because the attitude should be always in the positive. Because yes, some problem is there, then focus should be on the solutions rather than focus on the scrutinize the things, identify the fault. Focus should be on the solutions first. So positive belief system about the unions and their existence. So until and unless we stop the blaming to each others, we cannot get a good solution. So that's why you have to stop. Somehow you have to stop the blaming, and you have to start as a fresh new negotiation, new process, so that positivity and both the way the win-win situations can be achieved. So faith in the participative mechanisms. What type of mechanism there? Faith should be there, trust should be there. Yes, what are the decision solutions are there is beneficial and accepted by the everybody. That type of faith are to be there. So that's why the mechanism should be robust and strong enough. Some of the prerequisites for the successful HRD and OD approaches. When you are approaching for HRD or organizational development purposes, then definitely some of the requirements, some of the basic requirements are required. Initially, it is required. Policies should be required. Philosophy and the values of the underlying its actions, that part. Agreed policies, stamped and signed policies. Not meddling in the internal dynamics of the unions. Proactive and geared to problem solving. Then delegation of powers at different hierarchical levels. So delegation of power is very important in the case of when any process or approaches are formulated at that stage, because so that any area or any segment of the particular employees cannot say we don't know, or our ideas have not been considered, our alternatives are there and nobody has taken care. So that's why you should to the participations and delegation of power, you have to such a way so all the levels should be there. Everywhere one supervisor levels, one person as a representative can. So then only it will be a good practice. Then accountability for both human resources management. This is also important. Everybody should have a responsibility, commitment, and take their charges. No ambiguities. There should not be any ambiguities, ifs and buts or something, or any differences occur that should be sorted out as early as possible. Open-mindedness is another issue, because whatever in your mind, it may be right or wrong, that can be judged afterwards, but at least your voice should not stop.
It always seems like some guys just have a horseshoe, and our good friend John Cook is definitely one of those guys.
Allowed to say something. So that type of mindset is great. Both the way. Union should listen very carefully about the management, what they're saying, and management team is also hearing or listening carefully what are the grievances, what are the problems are there, because you have to view these all are the employees. We are the same employees. Maybe the rank is different, but we are all the employees. We all are working for the organizations. So that type of views, so that type of values are to be created. So workers in the union should be prepared to give up restrictive practices. So both are where the practices are restrictive, avoid this and adopt some new flexible rules where should be very easily understandable, feasible, and can be adaptable. So you can adopt it very easily. That type of policies, that type of discussions are to be made. So practices are very important, and like this. And such planned change is not likely to weaken their power, because sometimes some of the changes are, most of the changes are planned way, then it is better. Unplanned way sometimes it is weaken their power basically, so it may not be successful. Now, bi-party meeting between union and management, as I said, it is information sharing. That is very important, because as I said, at the right time, the venues and everything should be very cordial way, in a very in the ethical matters. That should be a method we have to approach it. In cohesive nature should be there. Allow the sharing the things, and it may require some of the survey jointly. Okay, only manager people representative are not there. You can from the union part participation, union representative can allow to put there in the groups, so that survey team can go and jointly they can. So this is the way the report, there are no questions, because the report has prepared based on the committee, and where the committee or the targeting joint survey, all the groups are there, from the labor side, from the union side, from the management side, from all the things, finance, marketing, development, one representative you can take. So this is the way you can have the joint survey, so that transparency, basically the transparency has to be maintained. Task force has to be prepared, because the task force should be knowledgeable persons. Collaborative projects, then training, then your grievance mechanisms, then participative forums, counseling and research, all are the some sort of your mechanisms of how to improving the industry relations. Next, now coming to your block number, unit number your 11, where the emerging trends in the practice perspectives. The business environment, as I said, there's one of the area business environment. You have to see where you are globally, or what are the influence in the market, so that your business should not be any hindrance, any resistance should not be there. So that environment you have to really understand that clearly things. Means where you are, the profits are, you have to profit, and company should be there. Management challenges, also the area are nowadays you have to look after what are the areas are challenging areas, because any climatic changes or any inflations or any rule and regulations. So changes can be anything, or maybe the leadership changes. So due to these changes, sometimes you need to stabilize the thing. When the vibrant, some of the problems creates because of these changes, that to be absorbed and go further. So trend of the HRD function. Now HRD function, what are the trends of the HRD functions? That is all of the area are to be considered and focus on for development. Sectorial trends, because where the HRD improve the performance, because you see without the improvement of the performance cannot maximize the efficiency. So to maximize the efficiency and to get the best performance of from the people, you should have a some policy. You should have some good goal objectives to be clear. Then that is all at the part of your sectorial trends. And continuous development of the manpower is also needed. One-time training may not be sufficient. Maybe retraining is required, learning, relearning, all these things through this process. The significance basically to sustain the competitive advantage of organizations. So people are most important strategic resource of the organization. You have to consider it. The people or your employees are the most important resources apart from your other raw materials or any product. So continuous development needed. The systems perspectives views the HRD functions, as I say, that the integrations. So integration is one of the very important part, which accomplishes the overall goal of the organizations. It is just like a, you can say, the connecting, networking, and the flow of communications. So all integrations where everything are included. I mean, inclusiveness, flowless connectivity. So then it can, in totality, the goal or ultimately you can accomplish. Basically, all these things are, if particular one section, a particular one of the area not functioning properly, then total integration systems will be declined, means not performing well. For example, from the communication part, suppose for example, if the systems is not robust because your net connections or not Wi-Fi connections in the company, in the organization are not good, it is data storing system is not good. What are the messages are sending through this equipment, electronic equipment are not latest, or maybe distorted, some of the messages are distorted or not suitably, or most of the times in the faulty natures. Then what happened? Your total integrity will be different, because you cannot get the actual, you cannot meet your goal, overall goal. So for that, what are the infrastructures, systems, standards, and latest technology are to be adopted to get the final integrations and get the objectives of the things. So this is presently emerging trends, because the integration systems are, that's why most of the companies are recruiting as the integrator, the manager for integration part. He used to see every location, everywhere, where the node points, basically the suppose finance, HR, marketing, productions. If we say it's all are the node points, so while the node points are really connected, that their views, their ideas, the database are really flow or not. If it is stuck up somewhere, means integration problems is there. So we have to finally observe the particular segment or particular there in the right time that all the information are coming on. So in totality, information systems also to be strengthened, then your integration problem can be solved. So this is the way you can identify the area and development. So mapping the systems. So organizational interventions as mapping systems, you have to map out and the process and activities, what are the activities, and that list of the activities, again, all the activities has to be prioritized. This is the activities are really top priority. This is the activities are the second priority, primary, major, minors, everything are to be listed out, and time to time it can be functioned. So business environment, which influences the business decisions in the organizations, that you have to see your corporate regulations, taxations are not, or location of the company, or your diverse nature of people are coming. So see, it will all are affecting your business environment, or maybe the parallel other company has started the same product in the market. They are also started the market. So competition will be built up. So it is also a part of your business environment. So you have to see how best quality you can produce and give it to the market, or in terms the social systems, so that people can happy after getting your product. So these all are the factors are there which are influencing the business decisions. So maybe the marketing, advertising, and your product range, quality of the product, and your robustness. So all are branding, all are the part of your business environment. You have to see where you are company. Then your the internal business operate in a dynamic environment. As you know, the business are here in static and all the dynamic conditions. So static conditions may not be stay for a long time, because it may be variables. The static systems may be hardly 1 week or 2 weeks. Again, some dynamic environment come because of the business environment, because of the, maybe, as I say, some of the other company has started, or some project is going on with the other company. After 6 months, same product will launch in the market. So definitely the present A company or B company. So for example, so A company will start thinking, if the B company start the product, then maybe the market share, they will catch the market shares, and our market shares maybe is likely to be reduced. So what type of action to be taken, and what to for the business competitive sense, what to do. So that type of things are basically the part of your dynamic situations, where you have to see how best you can do it for the survival. So accordingly, you have to fix some objectives, really objectives. You have to modify your objectives accordingly. So modify the business leaders and the managers to have a control over the internal environment. So internal environment is under control by the management itself. Suppose for problem in the financial problems, financial department, there what type of problems are coming out. So that environment you can change it based on this so many process. Maybe you have to it may require some changes of the policies. You have to do it, or maybe require some of the manpower, highly skilled manpower is required. You have to hire some of the people. So this is all an internal environment process where you can successfully do it. But things are, you have to scan the environment. First things, you have to scan in the environment, point to identify the areas and segment, and work on this. So then, and now there's all of the present trends. That's why you know the data analysis, data analytics, business analytics are demanding nowadays in the worldwide, because you have to enough data. But how the data from, based on this data, you have to identify, and you have to forecast. You have to foresee after 6 months your company will be where, and what type of decision making process has to be taken. So that's why internal environment are controllable, but outside external environment it may not be controllable, because some of the areas are not can be handled by the organizations. Some for the climatic changes, weather changes, or maybe some of the war is going on, as we know. And for example, COVID-19, we have seen these all are the external environment situations. But again, the company has to survive, to take some of the positive approach, or world. So there are another environment is this is the hookah. That is one of the common things. As I said, the COVID-19, we have learned a lot from the COVID-19 pandemic time. So because that time some mandatory lockdown was there, several companies has affected, the business has affected hugely, small, big, every. So most of them we are slowly recovering most of the cases. But although the scientists, doctors are not certain about the long-term consequences, still some of the consequences are coming up. And now you see that type of situations when some external environment or because of these things situation are coming. So as you know, the pharmaceuticals area, that time they have started research on to new medicines to discover so that human well-being purposes and can save the human and do this. And at the same time, some of the business things. So, and to some extent, survive also. India as well, US and other world, UK, everywhere it is demanding that time. And the consequences are still there. So now you see, so one of the characteristics, the management is characterized, now the management is characterized based on all this scenario, that's a kind of VUCA types, means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So all these areas are where the management should focus on this, alert on these things, so that if any situation come and you have to some of the action plan has to be prepared and do it. Business leaders and the managers do have a control over the internal environment, but to compete successfully, they should scan the environment and shape their business according to the trends and the perspectives in the given countries. So now, coming to the economic environment. The economic environment is, you see, where the business get influenced by the economic factors, the most economic fluctuations due to various reasons, influence business and the individuals in many ways. Economic growth provides the opportunities and leading to lower unemployment rates and the raising the incomes. So that part actually we have seen when the situation has not under the control. And sometimes the economy give you opportunity also, because as I can give you example, that in the COVID-19 time, even though some of the areas are declined, most of the companies traditional product has declined, but the e-commerce segments are increased or take their lead. Amazon, Flipkart, then you're in some of the your e-learning process. That companies are flourished where the Wipro on the company, then Infosys, software companies has developed tremendously. So that is the situation. It is staggered in the loan payment for the loan already taken for the loans, and then your post-COVID situations. Now, the economic environment, the policies, schemes announced by the government also, and directly and indirectly affect the boost to the economic activity. Manrega scheme, as you know, the government has declared after the COVID, okay, the laborers are idle. So that time, COVID time, at least 100 they work immediately after the lockdown. They are getting the lockdown time after that, so that they should survive. Further supply and demand of the goods and the services determine the prices and quality the quantity. This is the way it is maintained. economic environment. Now, the political, legal, and the social environment, that is democratic and environment technologies. Now, in this area, I can see some of the business environment dynamics, some of the explain the examples, some of the questions are there. What type of questions are important in this particular area? That is the business environment dynamic. Explain the with the examples, and how can a firm cope up with the changing technological environment, and explain the example. And VUCA, as I said, that is all are the part of your company. Briefly explain. So this type of questions normally are coming in the exam part. So I think I can recap once again some of the area. So company has to see the HRD part mainly to develop the industrial relations and emerging trend of the parts of things. So okay, I think now I can conclude the session because and the next session again we can discuss about the balance units. So okay, thank you very much. Thank you.